The following presentation is part of the Beyond the Blast Doors network.
Hello, happy Friday night. I hope everybody can hear me and see me okay. How's everybody doing? We are doing a Friday night live show. We're like I said, we're still, and you've heard us say this a couple times. We're working on what we're going to call the show, what it's going to do, how it's going to work. So we don't have an intro yet. All you get is you get my smiling face, and then we just start. We just talk. But you know what? Here's the best news. It's not going to be just me. It's going to be me. And tonight, our special guest host is none other than the man from the Bombad cast. We call him our own little Zach Galifianakis. Ladies and gentlemen, let me bring in my co-host for the evening, Mr. Gerry the Cannon Junkie Cable. How you doing, Gerry?
I'm pretty good, Pete. What's up, man?
Hey, man, I just throwing you in there, just pulling you in real quick.
I know.
It's our Friday night call-in show. This is your first time joining us on the call-in show as a co-host. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic and stuff. I was going to say, I thought I'd been on one, but I think that was like our Christmas special.
Yeah, we did.
Into the Mandalorian one.
Yes, it was the year-end just madness. So
the year-end Brady Bunch reunion where we all come in. We scare Clayton Sandell. Yeah, we scare the special guest star.
And I'm pouring my beer here while you're talking. So.
Yeah, no, you're good. At the end, I've got my setup right here. Just in case I need something, and I have my lovely. Speaking of that gift exchange there, I've got my gift from Mr. LaMiracle, as he's called on the Twitters. So
well, here's a cheers to you. Happy 2021. Cheers, yes. And to all of you hanging out with us tonight so far. We got Framey and Apprentice Ewok and Nick and Alex and
what's up, Nick?
LJR and David Amilati is watching from work. You should be working.
What?
Andrew Staley.
Shouldn't you be reporting the news, David? Come on. Trump is trying to take down journalism. You have a job to do, sir.
Well, I think we're doing our own sort of journalism right here, right now. So.
Most likely.
All right, that was a good start. So this is our call-in show. So what I'm going to do is, those of you who are familiar with the show right now, I'm going to pull up what that link is going to be, and I'm going to put it right here in the chat. We want to pull you in. We want to talk to you. We want to get your point of view. We want to talk to you about how your new year is, what you're looking forward to in 2021. And you know what? Hey, even if it's not Star Wars related, let's get to know you. So, Gerry, what did you do last night? I hope this isn't a sad question, because I know not a lot of people did exciting things this year for New Year. Sorry, what happened? Sorry,
No, you're good. What's funny is I joke about this because I think everyone in the chat is aware. Everyone's had a shitty 2020.
It's true.
Right?
We all.
Sorry,
yes.
My parents are probably watching. Hey, Mom and Dad. Sorry. Yeah, okay. But you just make it about you, Pete. Oh, here we are. Sorry.
Doing some screen switching.
Yeah, we're switching around, guys. You won't know. I'm hyper as all get out right now, just because I'm so excited to be here. But I'm excited to talk about my depressing night last night. No. What's funny is I joke about that kind of stuff. Because I've been you joke about. I deal with my my stuff where I make jokes and stuff because that's how I deal with it, right? And stuff, and I do it so I can have people like go, I'd rather laugh at it and just keep going than like sit and be like super sad stuff. But you make the jokes sometimes, crickets. And I think that happened with us earlier, right before we came on, and I was like, you can laugh. It's fine. I tell people all the time, it's okay.
Yeah.
But I got to talk to an old friend from college and stuff. It was really nice. We had set up a time to call. I got to see my little Padawan, hang out with her. We had some sparkling grape juice, non-alcoholic, to my parents who might be watching. Because she's 3, so yes. And she had to drive. But
well, because you were drinking, you were drinking.
Right. I was getting wasted. I was like, Ella, you just put a brick on the pedal. Let's go. But we, I talked to my good buddy, my Gungan goon in crime, my partner, at the Scotty J-Ro, viral sensation Scotty J-Ro, I might add.
He really is. He's become the man in viral.
That's my new moniker for him. I'm going to call him that every time he's like trying to get attention on Twitter. I'm like, viral sensation Scotty J-Ro, everyone. Here we go. But we got to talk for a little bit. Him and his lovely lady Katie, just fantastic people. Loved them to pieces. And you know what? I even talked to my parents, and then I just bring in the new year. I said with a little what I'm drinking tonight, a little gin and a ginger ale, local from Michigan. All my Michigan peeps. I don't know if Loro knows is in the chat, but Verner's fantastic. But that and a little Clone Wars.
Nice.
And that, honestly, best way to ring in the new year. So
I couldn't agree more.
What about you?
Yeah.
What about you?
Our New Year's was, it was one of our least exciting ones, but that's okay. I mean, I do have an 11-year-old and 8-year-old, and so we're gonna be pretty chill.
It's all Disney Plus and grape juice. For you right now.
Speaking of Disney Plus, we watched, and I can't remember if it was Disney Plus or HBO Max, but we watched Dr. Dolittle, which we had not Dr. Dolittle, the one with Iron Man in it, the one with Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, Civil War.
Yeah, Civil War. That's right.
No, sorry. No,
right.
People were just talking about that today on Twitter. Yeah.
So we watched that. We found some games on the PlayStation that you could play with our phones, and we all played a little bit of games. 10 o'clock, my wife said,
nice.
All right, I'm going to bed. 11 o'clock, my kid fell asleep. 11:45, woke everybody up. We watched the ball come down, and that was it. So it was pretty laid back, but I think that's cool. I think,
dude, that
after
sounds so nice. Honestly.
Yeah, it was kind of a chill way to go. But have you made any? We'll bring it our first. I see we have our first caller waiting, so we'll get to him in just one moment. But Jerry,
it's a him.
It's a him.
It's like Guess Who. It's like Guess Who. But
I look at our YouTube statistics, and they're like male versus female.
Surreal sausage fest right now. We got to work on it. We got to get Arzu and Shannon. They got to get their show going. I mean, come on, man. We
need to get them their own sort of Friday night calling. But
oh my gosh, ladies' night.
Oh, that's what we need. We need a BTBD ladies' night. That would be cool.
Honestly.
Did you make any Star Wars related New Year's resolutions? I mean, I'm sure you've made other personal ones that, honestly, I'm a good guy, but I don't care that much. I'm just
right. Well, I'm already perfect. So what else do I need to do? Right.
Of course. Yeah.
I've got the Zach Galifianakis look. I maybe need to go transition from 2010 Zach Galifianakis. Like, I need to go from Hangover Zach Galifianakis to 2020 Zach Galifianakis, or maybe 2019, where he's like, he's thinner and he looks nice and stuff. I'm working on the hair and stuff it's a little longer, but
you'll get
that's my no. For Star Wars stuff, honestly, I think I went through it today, and I've been a little more active, if anyone's noticed, on Star Wars Twitter, like I kind of used to be. And I felt that fire a little more. I've been a little more like, you know what? I want to get back into it. I want to talk with my peeps. I want to talk with the people that, they care just as much about the fact that it was revealed that, what's her name? One of the Phelan backup dancer from the special editions in Jabba's palace was in that last shot with Bib Chunk Tuna behind him. Like, I saw that on shout out to Alex and Molly over at Star Wars Explained, man, today. Like, and that I was like, not many people would understand standing up out of a chair and cheering for that in a house by yourself, but a lot of you people would. And so that is why I'm on there. And so that was, I want to be more involved with people and, get back to kind of 2021, man. Here we go. 2021 is going to be a year of positivity. It's going to be better. We're going to fight to make it better.
I think you're right. I think, it's the old, what is it? I can't even remember her name because she's played such a small role in Zori Bliss, who said, there's more of us. And I think that's it. There's so many positive things. So maybe we'll get into talking about positivity a little bit later, but I'll share my one Star Wars related New Year's resolution, and then we'll bring in our first caller. But
absolutely.
I need to read more Star Wars books other than the latest book of the guests that I have coming up on the show. I mean, I was telling you before we got on that as we're coming up to episode number 100 of Around the Galaxy in a couple weeks. So I was chronicling all my shows and just kind of going through it, and I realized that, I read. We had Alex Segura, for example, on the show, and sure, it was great to have him on the show. But the only thing I read was Poe. and it was literally like the week before he came in. And I know there's more book, and I know he didn't write more Star Wars, but I don't think he did. But see, because I don't even know. But I think so I want to read more of the Star Wars stuff, and I think it's going to be an important thing to do. Just because I also feel like with and we'll get to this as well. High Republic is going to be very much in the literature side of the world. Yeah. So I'm going to have to kind of work through my whole kind of fear of books and try to work with that. So that should be
I'm print, and so I have to do the audio books and stuff, but they're harder to get a hold of. So
I get that.
I literally just finished, Pete, the audiobook for the 40th anniversary of for a certain point of view, Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, you did?
And I literally just finished it like last week.
Okay, cool. It's a great book. I mean, I think it's I love that. And you know why I like those? I'll be honest with you. Because they're short stories and I have a very short attention span.
You can stop and go and like come back. Like me, I stopped for like a month and then came back to it because just life, Yeah.
So. Exactly. So why don't we bring in our first caller? I was
gonna say, let's stop yapping.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's here for us. I mean, maybe for you, but certainly not for me. And I'm going to bring in LJR 2903. I don't think that's his real name, but we'll add him to the stream. LJR,
is it a droid?
I don't know. Is this
hey? Hello, all right.
What's up, man?
Doing well. It's 2:00 in the morning in the UK.
Oh my gosh! How are you?
Thank you for so staying up. I'll try to keep my voice down. Oh man,
that's all right. Yeah, we'll be
sleeping. So, how are you? Thank you for joining. Now, I think I've seen you in the chat before. Is that true? Have I seen you around, or is this your first visit?
I've been on. I'm more active on Twitter more recently.
Okay, awesome.
Because I've started my own podcast, so it seems like it's a rational place to be.
Yeah, and it's good because there aren't enough podcasts. So
no, definitely not. No, I've seen every Star Wars pun going, I think.
What's your podcast going to be about?
It's every week I alternate. 1 week is a specific topic, and the next week it's a Q&A with me just live, answering questions, that kind of thing.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So, well, I guess before we let you ask us a question, let's ask you: Did you make any Star Wars related New Year's resolutions? Sounds like starting a podcast is one of them.
Yeah, starting a podcast, one of them, I think, and generally just being kind of more upbeat with Star Wars and being a fan. So there's things in the movies and the TV shows that I may not like, but I'd rather just focus on what I do enjoy. Same with the prequels. There's things that I don't enjoy, but I just focus on the positives. So with the prequels, my certain point of view, if you like, was looking through the rise of Palpatine and how he manipulated the galaxy and his machinations, that kind of thing. So Ian McDiarmid does such a good job of if the little looks in the background, or just when a character says something, Palpatine's already 10 steps ahead of what they're saying. And I'll shout out to the deleted scenes of Revenge of the Sith. There's some really good stuff of more of like the forming of the early days of the rebellion and Palpatine's kind of political opposition to that when Padme is trying to form with Organa.
Yeah, I wish it was. There's some of those scenes that I wish they would have been able to keep in. But so let me ask you. I mean, you bring up a really interesting point, and it's a slippery slope. So we'll be really careful about the conversation. But you're talking about staying positive, and I think that's one of the things that maybe in 2021 we can all try to do a better job of. I tweeted just before we came on air that nobody has ever changed their mind because somebody was shouting at them on Twitter, right? So just because I look, people know that Rise of Skywalker, I had issues with. I had real issues with that, and it wasn't because it was a bad movie, but it just wasn't for me. Like I had a different perspective on it. I thought there was a different opportunity, but I'm not going to go there's so many people that's their favorite movie, and that's great. I love that, but I'm certainly not going to troll them and try to find them and say you're absolutely wrong for that. So
I mean, visually, I recently watched Rise of Skywalker, and I would admit when Rhea says Rhea Skywalker, I kind of rolled a tear because I just decided to appreciate the powerful. Everyone can kind of, I wish this happened, It's a long list of what didn't happen. But if you look at the idea that like she was able to. Yes, she had the power of Palpatine, but she used that power to subvert the darkness within her, and then become a Skywalker, and then having her say the name with Luke and Leia, just in the place where Luke was as a child. Just I think when you kind of really just kind of accept it for what it is and just appreciate the story. Yes, it's behind the scenes drama and all that kind of stuff, but when you look at the in-universe story, I think it does make sense. And I'd rather finish a movie rolling the tea and smiling than kind of going, well, this didn't happen. It's so easy to do that.
Yeah, and it's funny too because it doesn't make any sense, and it's a weird world that we live in now as far as storytelling goes, because I think the story receiver, if you will, now kind of feels like they have the power to negate what somebody had done. I mean, I used Game of Thrones as an example. I loved Game of Thrones. I thought I got into it late, and I got into it, I think season 6 was when I finally started getting back on board. And at that point, I didn't love the way it ended, but I talked to some people about it, and I didn't love it, but it's not my story, right? I didn't write it. Now, if I wrote a novel and somebody and I wanted to change the story, it's all mine. But there's this weird sort of ownership that didn't exist before that seems to have started to come into things. Hey, Jerry's back. Hey, buddy.
Thank you. Yes, sorry, I got lost in the world between worlds there for a minute. So,
did you pull anybody out or?
No, we're Well, I went to grab an Ethernet cable from Ezra, and so I know where him and fun fact, I know where him and Thrawn are now, but can't say it because I'm under NDA.
No, I understand. I understand. So we were just talking about how there's this ownership of story that didn't exist before. In storytelling, but LJ, I'm sure your name isn't LJR. Is there a different name?
My name's actually Luke.
Okay. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Luke.
And it was
are you named
all through school? It was use the Force, Luke. I'm your father, Luke, and so on and so on.
Were you named after Luke Skywalker? Are you?
I don't know. Hope not. Well, I hope I was, but at the time,
Oh, that's
people
cool.
thought it was an original joke like 5 years down the line in school, like the 30th time they said it. I was like, oh, well done.
It's not that funny anymore, right?
Yeah.
So you jumped into the chat very early on. So did you have a question or a comment or something you wanted to talk about?
A question is, are you excited for the material that's outside of the Skywalker timeline, such as the High Republic and that kind of thing? Are you excited to see the universe from before the Phantom Menace? Do you think we're going to see a lot more kind of mythos or a lot more kind of political situation, or a mix of both?
Yeah, let's Jerry, why don't you take that to start?
Sure. Fun fact, I also got to see like how that stuff ends. So no, I'm just kidding. I'm just going to stop making those jokes. Dude,
tell people you're important. You are important. That's
exactly. That's, I'm like Leonardo DiCaprio from Catch Me If You Can, but not as impressive. So no, I honestly, Pete, I think we've been in kind of the same boat where we've been like, on the High Republic stuff for a little bit. Not that I'm excited to see that stuff, but I think that now that we're on this side of it, we know there's like a show coming and stuff. And honestly, I want to get different eras. I'm excited for it. I'm getting more excited because the release is imminent, right? Like, is it?
I think it's
next week.
Yeah.
Wow. Yep. Like it's getting like already people are like, this is pretty good. Like the people, like our friends online who have like got the early copies and stuff to review, they're like, oh man, it's pretty great. And hey, you're going to love this Jedi. And this is my favorite from the book. Like to answer your question, LJR, may I call you Leger? Sorry, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. Yeah. So you got how people like always like put the letters together in Star Wars and make a name for the droid, but you know what? I'll just shut up and say that. Well, and I am excited for that stuff. I'm excited to see this, especially because it's not so far removed. I would be excited to see like their version of the like old Republic, right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool that they're like, let's rewind and just kind of see. It's an interesting. I love the whole golden era. It honestly feels more Flash Gordon, the way that everything's kind of being presented and the look of everything, right? Like it's like they look like there's the Twi'lek Jedi that people are talking about. He looks like he's the Pope, you know. He's wearing like gold and everything. Like he's just missing the hat. But it's like
it's definitely a different look, right? I mean, it
is. It's a little more like I think old school. I think in the sorry to cut you up, but the what am I trying to think of? The thing that they erased and people were pissed off about.
EU?
EU. Yeah, I don't know why. I just forgot. Again, my brain is all discombobulated. But you know, in the EU, I remember seeing pictures of Luke's Jedi Academy, and they looked like they were like doing Shakespeare in the Park. But it kind of is reminiscent of that, where it's more flowy and stuff. You know, it's a time of opulence, but also just. It seems like the Republic is a little more on the religious side. It's kind of like, you know, earlier, you know, like maybe they're a little more on the Force because they're, you know, I don't know if you guys have, I've read a little bit of the, like the sampler or whatever, and they have like the light beacon or whatever, the beacon that they're launching into the outer rim and stuff. Yep. I don't know. It's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
I would love to say that I'm extremely excited. I'm excited to be getting more Star Wars, and one of the things that I think it will do for me, it kind of goes with that New Year's resolution that I talked about, is I hope to be more engaged in the written form of Star Wars, and I think I actually think between the gap between Bad Batch and Book of Boba Fett, I think that's where it's all going to be happening. So I also think that's where a lot of the promotion, a lot of the Star Wars conversation is going to be. So I'm going to want to have to stay with that. What about you, Luke? What's your thoughts on it?
I think for me, I'm most intrigued by the Acolyte, just to see the show from the point of view of someone who's following the dark side, and potentially, if it will be interesting to see if there maybe not so much redemption, but if they maintain to follow the dark side, but then question the motives behind it, or seeing some infighting, some kind of in the show the Tudors, Sam Neill's character, he would have his plan, but then he would fight within his religious order. So have that kind of infighting. Would be interesting, I think.
That would fit very well with the whole aesthetic of like this. We assume the Acolyte, it's talking about someone, you know, working on the dark side before Phantom Menace and stuff. We assume these are the Sith that are coming up to that, right? Maybe. I mean, it may not be that, but that fits with that so well. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah.
So I'm excited to see where all that stuff goes. Well, Luke, we've taken up enough. It's late for you, so we're going to want to thank you.
And I pieced out in the middle of it, so I apologize, Luke. I seriously apologize.
Jerry has a very short attention span. It's
you know,
it's his. So we're going to. Any last things you want to say before we force push you out of here?
No. Just thank you very much for taking me call. Do you mind if I plug my podcast? Is that all right?
Absolutely,
go ahead.
man.
Sure.
Yeah, if you go on Twitter and it's at the podcast is called Hoff Off the Press.
I like that.
And the Twitter is Hoff Off Podcast, and my Twitter is LGR2903.
Awesome.
But thank you very much. Thank you very much. Have a nice podcast.
Oh, no problem.
Hey, you too, man. Thank you so much.
And make sure to come back.
Bye now. Bye.
Like, subscribe, share, rate, review, all that stuff.
We'll do.
Yeah.
All right.
Go check him out, man.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Bam. All right, it worked.
Oh man, it made me small.
It did.
I'm still small.
You know, like Grogu.
There we go.
Like, it was a lot of
Had to
work
grow
and
it.
you're tired. Small.
It's like the
great,
Luke
man.
Force Crush, man. Yeah, no, I have seen Luke. I have seen you on Twitter and stuff going around, and so when you started saying it's LJR, I was like, I just saw him saying stuff today, and he's like, what a name for a podcast. Hot off the presses.
There is a
So
handful
good.
there's a handful of names that I really wish I had thought of. That's now one of them. The other one that
cast.
and that's brilliant. I think what was the one that I really left? Oh,
Stop.
Grand Muff Talking.
Yes.
I've never listened to the show. I hate to say that. I hope not. But
Tarkin's Tangents is a good one. I like Tarkin's Tangents. That's a good one.
I like that as well.
There's a lot of T ones that are really good.
but hot off the press is pretty good. But so yeah, I mean, he brought up High Republic, and as we think about where we want to go and what we want to see, like that does start next week, and that's pretty wild, right? And I think how much of the Star Wars universe do you think is going to be focused on High Republic in 2021? How much of the new material do you think is going to be in that space?
Man, I don't know. Do we have when is Acolyte slated?
That's a whole thing. You know, I'd like, maybe I should bring up all 10 shows and we could do a little contest, because I don't see nothing's happening. Acolyte's not coming until at the earliest 2022. At the earliest.
Right. Well, we got to have content for Celebration 2022, right? When we're at our BTBD panel to talk about, right? So, you know.
So that'll definitely be there. But
yeah.
So and honestly, I don't know how that's going to impact the Star Wars fandom, right? Because I would imagine
there's nothing to complain about, right? Except for that the characters aren't naked enough. Apparently, is some people's problem with them, or they're not buff enough.
That one yet? I haven't seen.
It's the Pope robes. That's all. They're pissed off at the Pope robes. So.
Oh man. So I don't know.
Sorry.
Yeah. Quite all right. But you know what? We do have another caller waiting. We have Michael from All Remaining Systems. Let's bring him in. Michael.
Oh man.
There he is.
Hey, everyone.
Whoa!
I'm doing real good
up,
here
dude?
in the new studio. So
you do.
Nice.
I've been.
I was seeing.
You on Twitter. Yeah, you've been stuff on it, and very good.
The little founders there in the background as well.
The BTBD.
So good.
Like very. You know, that's that might be the best looking thing on there. And there's some good looking stuff.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Got the Snoke on the throne, got the Grogu, and most importantly, got the Founders thing.
That's great.
You can't see
That's
my
awesome.
BTBD plaque very well because I got all my Mando stuff
Figures.
behind it.
You
and all
Mando
that.
figures. Cool.
Yeah. Oh man, I went crazy. Yeah.
Went crazy. I don't know. So, Michael, how you doing? How was your New Year's?
New Year's was good. It was real relaxed. I edited a podcast that I dropped today, actually.
Awesome.
Nice.
And then just did some planning for an upcoming D&D game. So it was pretty relaxed.
I say it. I think every time you're on, like, I want to get back to playing D&D someday. I just I need to figure out what I'm not going to do, and I think
you know,
caring for my children would probably be a
that's the thing. People always were trying to get me to play.
Like level 46 and needs
Dude, that's been my problem. I've had friends try to get me into it, and you know, my go-to answer is just I'm not that nerdy or whatever. But it's seriously,
which is not true at all.
It's not. No, I just pulled 4 action figures off of my shelf that I recently bought. I'm 33 years old, so I'm a huge nerd. But
well, you can get a Star Wars D&D game going, because that's how I got into role-playing games through the.
That's what I see.
Games.
They're always wanting to play those things, and I'm like, that's interested me. There was a Ghostbusters role-playing game that I was kind of like,
Ghostbusters.
That you basically the whole gist is you open your own franchise, and bust ghosts in wherever you are, and it sounds awesome. But let me pitch this to you. What if, Pete, in 2021 we set a goal to get a tabletop or role play game, maybe show going, maybe like once a month or something.
All right, maybe we could do that. I mean, we could do it.
That'd
with
be kind of
our
fun.
patrons or something. Maybe we could. Play
Oh,
that'd be fun.
That would be fun. That would be
now,
really fun.
Now we're talking.
There we go.
Let's.
I've had ideas for games forever. And I can pitch them all day long.
Look,
Oh, dude. Well, you're a fantastic writer too. So.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm gonna make everyone blush today.
So, Michael, what do you want to talk about tonight?
I could talk about some of the Disney Plus shows that were announced. We could talk about those a bit, or we could talk about High Republic stuff, because that's coming up sooner than I thought it was.
Yeah,
it really kind of snuck up on me.
Like it's 4 days away. Yeah, like it's coming too. But well, so let's simplify. Which of all the shows announced, let's take Book of Boba off the table, because I would say that is not that. And you know what? Let's also take Obi-Wan off the table, because I think
it's because they're closest and we've known about them the longest. We can be hyped about them more.
Yeah. So what are you looking forward to the most?
I gotta go Acolyte. Acolyte just sounds so interesting, and as someone who's always enjoyed sort of the villains of Star Wars and their sort of aesthetics, I'm a sucker for Imperial and First Order aesthetics. I think it will be super interesting, especially the more we find out, because personally, I think the Acolyte may tie into some of the stuff about like the Sith Eternal cult on Exegol.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's what I'm kind of thinking it might.
I like that.
I think that's a possibility. And I also think the thing that makes it less easy to just kind of guess at what it is the fact that Leslie Headland has, she's been pretty vocal about the fact that this is going to be a female focused show with sort of an Indiana Jones vibe. So,
oh my gosh,
so I think a lot of people, in fact, when we did BTBD Live earlier this week, and one of the things we talked about was, a lot of people are thinking it's going to be a Sidious story or a Plagueis story. It could be, but I think it's going to be more from sort of an outer sort of outer orbit of that story. But I'm pretty excited to see that. So,
yeah, I don't know. It's there's a lot of ways it can go. Oh, just because we don't know a lot about it, quite frankly.
Right.
We know it's in High Republic era, right? That's been confirmed.
Like the end of it, right? It's like
end of the
it's 50 years before Phantom Menace, right?
Yep.
Okay. So that would almost line up with
interesting.
Plagueis, but we don't know what they're doing. We don't know much about Plagueis in canon right now.
And the thing that I pointed out, because it struck me when I was looking at the Acolyte logo, is it looks very much like a comic book. I mean, the Lando one looks like a Lando, like you would expect the Lando logo to look.
It's like a really fancy bar.
Right. I want to go. Let's meet for drinks at Lando.
Let's go to Lando.
The Lando system.
We're going to Lando's.
Lando's not a bar. He's a person.
Lando. Yeah.
But that Acolyte,
someone make a bar in LA before we get there. I'm sorry, and name it Lando System, please.
Oh yes, absolutely.
I'll shut up. Go ahead, please.
By Anna. Yeah.
But you can send royalty checks to beyondtheblastdoors.com.
And me, because I did make the joke.
Yes, Mike L. Remaining Systems. Yes, right. Yes, Michael. It goes to Michael.
But the see, now I've totally forgot where I was. No, but I think it's
my magic power.
Here's the amazing thing about every Star Wars show so far, right? Whether it's Clone Wars, Rebels, not so much Resistance. I want to love Resistance, but I'm a realist.
Yeah. But I feel that
they are never what you expect them to. Mandalorian was not at all what we expected, right? I don't think we expected the bounty hunter. We expected kind of that old, so we got that piece, but nobody expected it to be a story about a hardened, grizzled, bounty hunter becoming a dad. I mean, that's a very different type of story, and it being a Force story as well, which nobody really expected.
A lot of us expected Book of Boba Fett to be Mandalorian, right?
Yeah.
That's honestly what we thought it would be like, because going in, shooting Boba or Big Fat.
Bib Fortuna,
Matt, whatever his name is. I'm oh gosh, for too much gin, I think. So, yeah, let's move. Okay, but no.
Where are we going with this, Jerry?
You were talking.
Jerry just
were talking
the brakes on this conversation.
I really did. Pete is like, okay, what time is it?
I'm like, it's getting late. Thank you all.
So you had said it looks like comic book stuff. Okay, you said okay.
And I was making
Bib Fortuna. That's who I was.
How did you get to Bib Fortuna though? From
the Book of Boba Fett stuff. But anyway, what you were saying earlier when I derailed you was that.
Yes,
it is completely. This is the Bombay cast now. We have that. It looks like every show has its own like feel, and it's not exactly what you think it's going to be.
That's right.
I think is the point you were going for.
Exactly. And where were you going to go with that?
Lando system.
Lando system bar. Well, if I may, I have thoughts about Acolyte.
Okay.
I am one of those. I like to watch the nerds burn. I like to watch the. I'll quote the poet. All systems remaining, Michael. when he said, that I like to see their necks pulsing with celibate rage.
Wow.
Yeah, but I think you could gender swap. You guys were talking. I think you could gender swap Plagueis, even though he said his apprentice killed him in his sleep.
I agree with that, actually.
Okay, so Jerry, did you watch?
Because it's one line.
Jerry, did you watch on Beyond the Blastdoors Live this week? Because
I was watching. I sent a super chat and you guys ignored me.
I was trying to bring you. Dave is in the chat, so I don't want to roll him under the bus. But he gets going, and
David, you know what?
Way, But anyway,
this isn't his show anymore. Okay, this is my show now.
Let's talk about that as a realistic possibility, because I would
seriously
love it if Plagueis was a woman. I think that would,
or his master Tenebris was a woman. I mean, seriously,
right. So, what do you think about that, Michael? Are we out of our mind? I mean, yes, we are. But as it relates to this, is this a possibility?
So I will first preface this by saying that Plagueis is probably my favorite Legends novel, maybe my favorite Star Wars novel.
It's a fantastic story. It is
a great book. Yeah.
I would be 100% okay with Plagueis becoming a woman, and if that's the direction the Acolyte wants to go in, because at the very least, with everything we know about Plagueis and canon, it's only through the story that Palpatine tells Anakin, which already is pretty embellished in terms, and like
he's making it a story he wants to use. Yeah,
exactly. It's all just a tool to manipulate Anakin. So in canon, if they want, none of the story could be true. There could be no Plagueis. It could just all be a bunch of crap he made up.
Well, yeah, it could be. It could be more of an idea, right? Yeah. Like the Dread Pirate Roberts, but more evil or something, Or
and I think people are already like, well, that means Palpatine will be 2 years old, and I no, we don't know anything about Palpatine.
I think he's older, but I don't.
He could be eternal. He could be, there could be a whole.
He could be all the Sith.
He's got freaking zombie clones that smell like meat.
Froze in the Mike. Did you catch Michael's frozen position there? He was like perfect. He was holding a beer. He was smiling. He was excited. So
it's like we were waiting for the Corona logo to come up. Da, 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 da. No,
but no, I think that would be pretty wild. So, I mean, he did it again. I don't think he did it on purpose, but
it's like Mary Tyler Moore. Throw your hat in the air and see if it stops.
For those of you that don't know, Mary Tyler Moore was a show for children. No, it wasn't for children, but when we were anyway. So listen,
we saw Nick at Night when I was a kid. So.
Michael, do you have any other comments before we force push you out of here for some of the folks that we have waiting in the wings? And I gotta try to pull Jerry back in a little bit somehow. And it's early. But
I was just gonna say, do you mind if I plug my show? If you let me,
hey, you know what? Every plugging shows, plug away. Plug.
Seriously, man.
And let me. I also want to make before you plug. I'm going to make you hold before you plug. Jerry tweeted something today, which I thought was very relevant, and I don't want to go too deep into it because it could throw us into a rabbit hole. But the whole point of supporting positive content, regardless of who it is, as long as it's positive, even if they, are they a Raylo and you're not, but they're positive, hell yeah, support those folks. And so
push it out, man. Yeah.
By all means, Michael, talk about All Remaining Systems. Go.
So All Remaining Systems, we've officially rebooted our podcast and YouTube channel, deleted a bunch of the old stuff that wasn't good because we put no effort into it. And so we're
doing tonight, which is
exactly. But no, we've cleaned the slate. We've cut down about 20 episodes, but now we should be releasing bi-weekly episodes. So every 2 weeks, every other Friday, we'll be dropping an episode starting today. We just posted our Mandalorian season 2 discussion.
Nice, dude.
And so, is there a theme to All Remaining Systems, or is it a sort of a just a general conversation? Is there what's the scoop?
It's pretty conversational. It's just we talk about whatever we feel like talking about. Sometimes we review silly Star Wars things, like we want to get back to reviewing the Jedi Prince books very soon, which have my favorite Star Wars character of Trioculus.
No way, dude! Freaking Trioculus is. I'm gonna
That's
have
why
to
he's
go.
my
Okay.
avatar on Twitter, which is at local first order.
Oh, wait, isn't Trioculus the name of the new COVID stream? No.
Yes.
Trioculus
I've
is
even got-
Palpatine's son, and he holds the glove of Darth Vader, sir.
I had a poster custom made of all the Jedi Prince books just because
Oh my
they've sort of
gosh.
become the weird mascot of our podcast.
Wow.
Okay,
Wow.
Michael, are those episodes still available? You have already done
Yes.
some.
We have those episodes still up.
Okay, well, I gotta go. I'm gonna look at those things right now. No,
We've
that's
only reviewed
awesome,
the first
dude.
three, but the sequel trilogy, as you were, they're gonna be. We're gonna be talking about those here soon.
Oh, that's beautiful, man.
Well, Michael,
That's
as
awesome.
long as you don't release shows on days that compete with our live shows, that's totally fine. We're very supportive of you.
Hey, I
kidding.
release
No,
my
it's-
stuff at noon, so that way, as long as streaming Star Wars stays here at night, we won't have a problem, Pete.
I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. But Michael, it's always great to see you, and also always great to blow up in Voodoo Squadron with you. And it's been a while. We gotta get back to
Always
that.
an honor.
But dude, let's force push him out of here on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Boom. All right.
Oh,
That was
man.
great. Always great to have Michael with us. And Michael's with us. I want to sort of give a quick shout out to as many people as I can see here in the stream. We
Let's
got
do it.
Gilster with us. We got Framey. We got Semper Fi Danny. We got Francis Ewok. Gilster. I said Semper Fi Danny, but I'll
goodness.
say her again because she's that great. Dale Erdman.
Named twice.
Mr.
So
Rez,
nice we named her twice.
who named her twice. Mr. Rez, D. Raven Spencer, one of my
Rez.
favorite people on Twitter. I feel like I'm borderline stalking her. I got to be careful. Luke is still with us. It looks like David
Luke.
Amilati. Those of you who know him, and
Eh.
many more. And Alex Klump, how are you? Haven't spoken to you in a while. And we do have another couple folks in there, but one of them is a guy. You were talking about. Neck beards, and you were talking about extremes. I'm a
What
little
a great.
I'm hesitant to bring this next guy in, although I loved it when I was on his show, and he will be on Around the Galaxy probably sometime in January. I want to bring in Mr. Jared the Dark Jedi. Jared,
Oh,
there he is. This is dangerous because I know you have a long history with Jerry, and this may be a good opportunity for me to get up, take a flight to another country, and then come back by the time you guys are done. How are you, Jared?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here. Obviously, I'm a big old BTBD shill. I feel like I'm like mildly more into your guys' stuff than I am into Nerd Academy stuff at this point. It's like just by a smidge.
well, that just makes you not full of yourself, right? I'm about to be a TNAP. I'm about to be a TNAP shill because I ordered my shirt today. I finally
I
ordered
saw-
it, and it's coming, bro.
You do
I'm
not
gonna
know
wear
the
it.
smile. You do not know the
Oh, dude.
smile that hit my face.
I'm gonna be peddling that. Like, by the way, my brother-in-law just said, "Hey, what's up, Jerry? What's up, Garrison? Mom and Dad, you gonna want to shut the show off now because Jared's on, and he brings out my tenacity. So there we go. But
So, Jared, how was your New Year's, man?
yeah,
It was pretty good. It was pretty
I saw
good.
a picture of you and Baby
you
Yoda,
know-
which was nice.
oh, beautiful.
Oh, always. I'm always with my child. We gotta be ringing the
You're a
new
good
year
dad.
together. Yeah. I try. I really try.
It's a
He's seen a lot.
inspiration
he's
to us
seen
all.
a lot of emo Skywalkers flying off the handle. So, I keep him away from my overwhelming amount of Kylo Ren merch, in case there's any trauma there at all.
But yeah, I mean, you'll notice that I added a second Kylo Ren helmet, and that's in your honor, Jared. I now have the Force Awakens and the Rise of Skywalker version. So you can't really see
yes,
the
yes,
red
I love
the
dwelling of
space super glue version.
space.
I'll have to make sure my cosplay helmet is nearby whenever I'm on Around the Galaxy.
Yes, absolutely. Make sure you can
Beautiful.
grab that. So how are you then? What inspired you to give us a call this evening, other than your BTBD shill level of fandom, which we appreciate very much?
I just like talking to you guys.
No lie. You came up in conversation before we started the stream.
You did.
No
You
lie.
did. You absolutely
Yeah.
did.
Because all of us are
That's
kind of
very sweet.
we're the pot stirrers here. This is why it's dangerous to have all three of us. We're like a trifecta, like a triangle of let's talk about the controversial stuff. Honestly.
Which and see, as the senior member here, I will try to control that as much as possible. But I do want to say, Jared, by saying what you did, how you did, you almost sounded like my creepy ex-girlfriend before I met my wife, who would just call and be like, I just wanted to talk to you guys. And that's
how my mom talks music. I just want to hear your voice.
So we have creepy ex-girlfriend and neckbeard.
Well, no, I'm
feel
not
so
calling you
welcome,
neck-
Pete.
No, Jared,
Pete has a high opinion of you.
I'm not calling you neck- I just know that you have opinions on neckbeards, and that's where
okay.
that's what you are not. You have a beard, but it's not neckbeard.
What he means, he means, Jared,
Help
is
me out
that
there,
you
Jared.
hunt neckbeards for sport.
Yes.
Is what he means.
Yeah.
You have a lot of fuzzy necks on the wall behind you. We can't see them right now, but they're up there,
can't.
still
He's got the
pulsing.
braids,
Still pulsing.
on his. He's got the braids on his vest.
I have like a spot on my wall specifically for the quarterings, like horrifying caveman beard. I'm like, I have a spot for the quartering specifically. I'm like, I'm coming for you, buddy. And next to the quartering, I'm just gonna put Doomcock's helmet.
Oh my god!
It's gonna be Doomcock's helmet and then the quartering's beard.
Ideally, at some point, his studio will look like the Doc Ondars at Galaxy's Edge. It'll be just
Look like that like a Trandoshan lives there or something.
Right,
you know, like dude, you're gonna have like paper mache helmets out the wazoo.
yes. Oh man.
Dude, deep cut, Star Wars deep cut. In The Force Unleashed, Ozzik Stern, the Imperial who's running the operation on Kashyyyk.
Yeah.
Whenever you go into his quarters and he has all of like the trophies where he has like a Reek and a Nexu and an Acklay and he has like a Gungan frozen in carbonite. But the Phantom Menace. That.
Yeah.
Those who we have a Stephen Colbert policy on the show now. We're not gonna. They who shall not be named. We're talking about them like people talk about Trump. You know, we're like, got it. Yeah, just so you know. But yeah,
I'll keep that in mind.
I like the sound.
Okay,
I like the sound of that.
But let's see if we can have an interesting part of this conversation without getting too crazy. Because honestly, look, we're in a weird situation right now in the fandom.
Yeah.
We had a crazy 72 hours just before the end of the year, and
yeah,
there was side taking, and I mean there were some brutal things going on online, which were just not cool at all on any side of things.
Yeah.
But one of the things that, and again, this sort of references one of the things that Jerry said before, and that is, there's, where was it go? Oh yeah, if we can just focus on the positive piece. One of the things that's occurred to me is that the quote unquote positive side of Star Wars, right? And put whoever you want there, right? It's very fraction because we're so passionate. Look, everybody who's been on the show so far tonight as a guest who's called in, they have their own podcast. They love it. They love Star Wars so much they have their own podcast. They called in, we talked, and of course, why wouldn't we let them, sort of promote their? But the challenge is there are so many different voices, all fighting for attention. Whereas the people who don't like The Last Jedi, which I think might be the best way to put it, who passionately dislike The Last Jedi, extremely passionately do not like cottage.
Yeah. It gives them the stress runs.
Right.
So,
that's their life goal. It's a very simple focus. Whereas, you have a Raylo group, you have a prequel apologist group, you have the sequel fans, so there's a lot of different groups. And I think at the end of the day, I don't care if you're not a jerk and you love Star Wars, all are welcome, right? And I think that we need to remember that. And I even see that when you put out a positive message on social media, where you say, "Hey, support this group or that, not even group, this podcast or that podcast, there's always a reason why somebody has a problem with that particular podcast. And I think we need to just kind of stop that. If there's a passion about Star Wars that's so strong and real, and in a way, and this is where I've gone in the past, when I've talked about people who are so aggressive, is I hope and believe in most cases, I'm going to give them most cases, it's coming from a place of passion. It's coming from a place where they care so much about Star Wars but they just go a little bit too extreme in many cases. But at the end of the day, they're huge Star Wars fans. They hate the Disney era. And that's okay. You know what? That's kind of okay. If I'm being completely honest, walking out of the prequels, I was like, I don't know if I like this. It took me 15, 20 years to get to a point where I enjoyed it. Now, at the end of the day, though, there is zero tolerance for people who are horrible to other people. I mean, Eckhard's Ladder today posted something where some neckbeard came after him and his children on social media. No excuse for that. I don't care if you're
absolute degenerates. Absolute degenerates.
Right. No room for that at all. And people need to speak out about that, regardless of which type of Star Wars you like. And I think that's as much as I'll probably say about that. But if you want to comment, go ahead and I'll duck. But
no, I absolutely agree with you. And that's one of the reasons why, accidental shameless plug, like with Knights of the Nerd Republic, I oriented everybody that I brought onto that show very deliberately. Because I know I grew up on the EU, but I'm in love with the Disney era.
Yep.
And I know Mike grew up on the EU as well. Not that into the Disney era, is kind of hit or miss with him. Levi, middle of the road. Lexi loves the new stuff. Travis loves the new stuff. Spencer and Joel, they can go either way. Connor really likes the new stuff. Mm-hmm. So I didn't want to make it a show where it's like me screaming into a Raylo echo chamber about how Ben Solo did nothing wrong. Right. But as much as I want to convert Mike or whatever, that's not how it is. And that's not really how I want it to be. And there's absolutely room for that discourse. And media criticism is one thing.
Yep.
Like holding a movie or a TV show or a novel or anything to the fire is one thing. I think where a lot of that discourse falls apart is whenever people start using words like objectively good or objectively bad. And, you say, oh, the story's political. And there's so many buzzwords that start to make the conversations about the new stuff so difficult to have.
Yes.
Yep. Where we say the sequels are political because there's the main leads are a woman and a black man. That's political. When the prequels are about the Bush era and the OT is about the Vietnam War.
Right. I mean,
don't understand when Star Wars George Lucas even said that. Or in that one interview he did where it was him and James Cameron.
Yes.
Or he was he said the United States was the empire in Vietnam.
Yep.
He just outright said that. Yep. So I understand how a lot of the people, myself included, get equally defensive and angry when it's Star Wars is political now. Well, it's always been political.
It has.
Why is it apolitical? Why is it political now? And political in a bad way because the casting has become more explicitly diverse. And that's where that machine of everything turning into a knife fight starts is whenever it's those specific complaints. And
I'll go even a little bit down a service road on that as well and say, because I'm
gonna need a little more to
have a little more to drink there, Jerry. But even if you take, because yes, a good percentage of the argument is political, but even if you take people who are I don't like what they did with Luke Skywalker, that's still not a reason to follow somebody on Twitter just to tell them every time they say the words "The Last Jedi" that they're wrong. And here's it's not even, let's even take all the extremism out, because there's extremism it's not even worth talking about, right? And we even just mentioned as an example, but I don't understand the point. And as I said earlier, I tweeted before we came on the air that nobody's ever changed their mind because somebody yelled at them on Twitter about a movie that they love. And so I don't understand, like, when do you just sort of let that go and say, you know what, I didn't like it, so it's not my head. Look, I have headcanon that's going to be blown apart by the Kenobi series, right? I have in my head that whole thing. Am I going to like start to tell people that if you like the Kenobi series, you're wrong because it's objectively bad, because that's not what happened as far as I'm concerned for my Kenobi. Hashtag not my Kenobi, right? I mean, that's what's so silly about it. And yes, there's a lot of politics, and that's where it starts to get ugly and personal. But it's also just the constant. Why constantly remind people that I disagree with you? Yeah, it doesn't work.
Well, and like it's being said in our chat, honestly, Paul's Collectible is saying, hey, it's a fantasy. Right here, I don't know if you're going to pull it up. It's a fantasy film. It's all fantasy films, plastic spacemen we collect. Live and let collect. Not serious. It's all fun. What's great about Star Wars is it is that deep level. And honestly, any piece of art is political. You just ask, it's going to have that person's political opinions in it.
Yep.
Any film you watch, even Back to the Future. I mean, come on.
Absolutely, yeah.
Kung Pao.
Politics.
I mean, it all has the people, the perspective of the people who made it, right? And but the thing is, that's what's cool about Star Wars is we have that deep, and we can talk about the politics of it and all that, but we can also come back and go, you know, I really like the dude who we get a shot down his throat at Jabba's palace in the special edition that everyone hates, and that's also a part of Star Wars. And it's like, it's the fun and the depth. That's what makes it, I think, so transcendent with life and stuff, right? You know, it's the fun, and also it means something to us.
Well, this is a fun conversation. I'm going to add Nick Milkey to our conversation. Jared, I want you to stay with us, and I'm going to add Nick, because Nick and I have had
you got the stay.
Well, we got the beard.
What's up?
You know, Andy's beard
look
is
at the
awesome.
beards here.
But Andy Lemire's beard is awesome, but this guy's in the beard zone as well.
I got worried that Andy was going to bail on the beards. You know, he went with that big trim not too long ago.
He did. Apparently, his wife liked it, and so that's right. He turned back. So let's get back to this guy.
Gotta grow mine out.
Any points on this? I mean, we're honestly treading in dangerous territory, because I really don't want this to become.
We actually talked about how we didn't want to talk about this tonight, but then Jared came on and effed all that up. So,
when I saw Jared, I was like, here we go. Let's do
right. Good job out of Jared.
But I think here's the point. I mean, have it as a genuine conversation. So, Nick, do you have any thoughts on this?
You said it as I was coming on. You and I text about this kind of stuff pretty regularly, and I blow you up when we're having, you know, we've had moments of discussing maybe we should try and relitigate Rise of Skywalker and mediate me between you and Andy, like coming up with. But when it comes down to it, we don't need to do that. And I love what you said, Jerry, and I come back to it all the time. Art is going to be political. Art is going to be controversial. Art is going to be something that makes you have a feeling. And whether it's a good feeling, whether it's a bad feeling, the difference and the key to the whole thing is to not be an asshole if you don't like that particular piece of art. And that it's not that difficult. And but in this fandom in particular, and I had this conversation with somebody the other day, I don't know if it's like this in like the Marvel fandom, because I'm not as plugged into that as I am Star Wars. It may be for people who are our level. I don't know, but
Me and Jared just fought today about Team Cap and Team Iron Man, so we're angry at each other. We're fighting right now.
Nick, to like specifically answer your question, there are like subcultures of Marvel fandom that can be like that. Like there are like vicious
the comic
arguments
gate, right?
About Spider-Man. Oh, Comicsgate, which is its own thing, which is like, again, they who shall not be named.
Yeah, the things we don't need to talk about that I say
Gamergate,
anyway.
That's how they came. That was the progenitor of those groups.
Well, and surely you've got just the sheer volume. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and it's specifically like the arguments I see most of are the Spider-Man stuff, where people just get like vicious with each other about like the concept of like Tom Holland's Spider-Man not being Spider-Man enough, and like him being Iron Lad instead of like his own Spider-Man, and like all these like ridiculous. It's the same thing. And with DC, like, you know, not to open this can of worms, but like the Snyder cult, and that's that whole realm of just, fan upheaval and entitlement.
But I think we can take this to a point which is a different way to have a similar conversation. That is ownership of story, right? I mean, and so, myself, I saw Star Wars when I was 7 years old in the movie theaters before it had episode IV in front of it. So I go way back, and we as a Star Wars fan for 43 years, we went through the Greedo shot first challenge. We went through dealing with the prequels. We went through but there's a different world right now, and I said it when Luke was on before. But Game of Thrones. There are people who literally created a petition to reshoot season 8 of Game of Thrones because they didn't like it. Look, if I don't like an album from my favorite band, I don't listen to it. But I'll listen to the first 12 that they had and move on past the latest one. So.
I think that another interesting thing with the Star Wars fandom, and this is painting with a very broad brush and speaking in very broad terms, but for the most part, I feel like there's two general types of Star Wars fan, where you have Star Wars is my childhood and I love these action figures. And then you have people who really sink their teeth into Star Wars as modern mythology. And there's back and forth on that. There's a lot of people who go both ways on that. Me personally, I'm more of a modern mythology kind of person, the way I look at Star Wars. And I think most of the people who get really loud and really heated about how they feel about Star Wars tend to be the modern mythology camp. Because most people who are more on the collector side of things generally are the people who are kind of able to go, yeah, it wasn't for me. Done. That's it. And then there's oh wow, you had a conversation a freaking grown up about space wizards. Holy shit! And it's and I've made this joke before where I get giddy when I hear somebody go oh yeah, I hated The Last Jedi, and they say nothing after that, and it's oh cool, you didn't like the movie. And you're not about to tell me why I'm an idiot or less of a fan and any of it.
That's the part, right? Where it's stop. Don't do that.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. Go on.
No, and I think that an interesting conversation can be had between the modern mythology people who love the new stuff and the modern mythology people who dislike the new stuff. Because I really think it boils down to how on what level they engage with the story. Me personally, one of my biggest perceptions of Star Wars boils down to the George Lucas everything is poetry, it rhymes. And that's one of the reasons why I love the sequel so much, is because it rhymes so much. The Last Jedi especially. And that's always my thing, where people talk about, the prequels are genius. People put shit on the prequels for no reason. I'm if you like the prequels, I don't understand how there's that same group kind of hate The Last Jedi. Is kind of where my brain kind of starts to catch on fire, where I'm it's all poetry, it rhymes. Luke became Obi-Wan. The point of the prequels was to show what was wrong with the Jedi, and Luke was so infatuated with the idea of the Jedi that he did the same thing Obi-Wan, Mace Windu, and Yoda did that created Darth Vader. He did the same thing again. That's why he goes into exile, because in his mind, people like him and the Jedi are the problem. That we've gone 2 for 2 now. That it's the Jedi who end up creating the monster who genocides them into oblivion. And that's why Luke arrives at the conclusion that he does, the same way Obi-Wan arrives at the conclusion of, maybe this wasn't a great idea. He talks about being a Jedi in the past tense in A New Hope.
Yeah.
And I again, it's all poetry. It rhymes. Oh, they ruined Luke's character. Did you watch to the end of the movie? And there's a lot of conversation that can be had there. Only once. But I think there's a lot of conversation to be had there about the modern mythos of Star Wars that I think makes this whole issue and conversation a lot more interesting. assuming we check like the crazy Mary Sue, forced diversity, SJW, like those claims, if we check that nonsense at the door and talk about the text. Because in my experience, the people who take that really like, celibate rage, fanboy freak out approach to the newer stuff can't check those weird reasons at the door and just don't.
Right.
Well, and
at least in my experience. Sorry, Nick.
You're good. Yeah, you're great. I was just going to introduce, and Pete's not here, so I think I get to be the next old man in the room saying, "Get off my lawn."
Oh man, come on. I'm on the BTBD ship though.
But here's the other Pete. There's Pete. He's back. Okay.
You can still be the old man in the room though. It's okay.
That's fine. I yelled at people in my neighborhood just today. It's fine. But I'm going to float this out there. And I'm kind of building this theory as we go, as if we're building the airplane while we're flying it. I grew up with the original trilogy. I was born in 78. So I got, Empire as a little baby, Return of the Jedi when it came out, and grew up with that. And then I went through what we all, of our age, my age, or a little bit the dark time. We didn't have anything until we got to the prequels other than the expanded universe, which I love. I love those books. That was what kind of got me to the prequel time. And then we got to the prequels and I was so excited to have Star Wars, like to have something new, because I didn't think we'd ever get anything other than books, which I was good with.
Right.
And then we got Phantom Menace. And I love, I think it was when he was on with you, Pete, Ken Knapsack said a reformed prequelist.
Yep.
And that's me. Like, I appreciate them so much more now than I did when I got them as a college student. I didn't have Twitter when I was in college. That wasn't a thing. But I also didn't lose my mind after I saw Phantom Menace because it wasn't exactly what I wanted it to be. And the thing that I'm positing as a possible theory or possible whatever is we have this modern culture. We know social media is a part of it. We know that has such a big reactionary thing. But there's this idea, and we've seen it most prominently in like TV shows. Firefly is going to be canceled, and there's a write-in campaign where a bunch of people are able to get another season of Firefly, or 10 years later we get another Gilmore Girls, whatever it is. Like, we've empowered fandoms, cultures, groups of people who love something to come up with a way to go, we're going to make enough noise that how much we love it, that we want to get another one or some more. We're trying it with Make Solo 2 happen. We've seen that. And it hasn't, landed yet, but it also creates this false expectation of one thing to want more. It's another thing to go, I don't like it, so I'm going to pitch enough of a fit and get enough people to pitch a fit with me that we can get you to start it over. Like there was the article, I think I saw it as recently as today. Somebody shared the article about how George Lucas is going to like cancel out the original trilogy and start over, and we're going, do we really think this is how it works? And there are people that think that's how it works, but part of it is just making noise and wanting to be here. And Twitter magnifies that. Social media magnifies that. Because any of us can sit there and throw a stone, lob something, do whatever, and get attention. And so coming into that from a different angle, like there was never a part of me, as much as I didn't enjoy the prequels at the beginning, where I was pissed off and thought I was owed something else. There are parts of the sequel movies that aren't my favorite, but I look at it and go, well, that wasn't for me. But like my kids, and Pete, y'all also talk all the time about windows and doors into the Star Wars universe. Yep. What my kids love is not what I love. And that's fine, because not all of it's for me. And so there's no real endpoint to this thought, but it hit me as you were talking, Jared, especially about like the TV show Save Culture, and do a hashtag and mail a bunch of things to Warner Brothers so they'll give you one more season of 30 Rock or whatever it was going to be.
Box tops,
it just, that's what Twitter and social media on some level has become. Only not for the good of, hey, we want more. It's the good of, it wasn't exactly what I wanted, so I'm going to pitch a fit about it.
So, and to be fair, sorry, Pete, real quick if I may. Yeah. Most of those people who, pitch a fit because they don't like stuff, and they believe that the reptilians are in charge anyway. So they think they're just yelling at giant lizard people. So
I saw the
I was just
It's
saying, V.
okay.
We're talking about V here. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm not one.
Even though I ran away for a good couple minutes, I'm going to take a little bit of control here. I'm going to give Jared one last thought, and then I'm going to bring in somebody from down below. Jared, what's your last thought on this? And incidentally, you have two people on screen right now who are going to be on Around the Galaxy sometime in January. You got Nick will be our guest on Tuesday night, and Jared will be closer to the end of January. And Jerry, you've already been on.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I forgot.
So sorry, Jared. Go ahead. What's your final thought on this?
My final thought is that Star Wars is meant to be for everybody, and these kinds of conversations,
Yes.
when they go to a place of attempting to be exclusionary and being cruel and gatekeeping, is the moment we make Star Wars a less viable franchise because less people want to be a part of it.
Yep.
And I think the onus is on fans with a platform and content creators to do the best with their platform that they can to foster an environment where everybody is welcome into fandom. Because it's space wizards.
Amen.
And if
Star Wars New
we all
Year's
know how space
resolution right
wizards
there.
we all know how space wizards changed our lives. Let's help other people get into space wizards to let them change their lives.
Yes. Thank you.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah, let's get more than the straight white males that are on the screen right now. Seriously, let's do that. Let's bring them in. Bring the people in. Amen, Jared.
So
No better thought.
We're gonna force push out Jared. Watch for him
Right.
on my show coming soon, and then we're gonna bring in. We're gonna break up a little bit of the straight white male here in 1 second. So let's push out everybody. Yeah, Nick, you're welcome to help push him out if you want. And
I'm a bigger dude. You'll need it.
all right, we did.
Oh man! Oh, I missed it. I prepared for so long, and then he was just.
I know
gone.
you were just working through. I'm gonna add Raven Spencer, one of my favorite people. Hey,
Raven.
how are you?
What's up, Raven?
She's muted. She's got to unmute herself. And
Oh, come on! Yeah,
I was gonna let you
Hey, come on!
introduction about how I'm not a straight white man, so I can change it up a little bit.
Well, here's the thing. I think it was
gotcha.
pretty obvious as soon as you came on screen.
And here's the thing.
Pink and purple hair too.
Oh yeah, I love the purple hair. It's looking great. We saw it on last night.
Dude.
These guys. Sisters and
That's
Favors
nice.
did a late night show last night. What time did you guys go till?
Well, we stopped after an hour online, but Portia and G and I were out until about 3 a.m.
I feel that. Oh man.
Yeah.
That was our Christmas special. Yeah.
Right. Well, we had some technical difficulties, and our technical person was not with us, so we had some issues, and it was just 2020 was 2020. Am I right? So
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, dude.
Absolutely. Well,
Sparta kicked that thing into the well. I mean, for real.
That's right.
I don't want to.
That's
I don't
right.
want to make. I don't want to make one of the people on this illustrious screen right now feel bad. But 3 of the 4 people on this screen kickstarted 2021 with some serious bacon action.
That's right. That's right. Oh, Jerry, you missed it, man. Oh, you should have been on Twitter.
Listen, guys, I just don't have bacon right now.
Oh, that's a crime, my friend. A crime.
We're gonna get you some bacon, Jerry.
I'm bacon poor.
Clearly.
Please give us some super chats so I can have bacon money. That's what we need.
Hashtag
Clearly,
get
that's
Jerry bacon.
Yeah.
So, Raven, what did you want to add to the conversation other than just your perspective and what do you got? What do you want to bring?
Well, I definitely want to bring a little of the old school as a born on 1977. Literally. So I wanted to just kind of join in with what I was hearing, prior to this, talking about, Luke changing and the process of that, and people having to understand that characters do in fact change. And I think it's something I think a lot of, the newer fans, especially, if you haven't had time to live with these characters, it makes it a little bit harder to really understand who they are and how you can change. I am almost 44 years old, and I remember Luke, from the beginning, and I see the Luke, that we saw in The Last Jedi. And yes, he's very, very different. But to me, it's like, well, so am I from the person that I was back then.
Yeah.
And certainly from the person I was when I was in my late teens, early 20s, as Luke was in A New Hope. And I think that one of the things that people tend to just forget is that people do change, and there is a ebb and flow in life. And so many of the things that I hear people complain about, they're just not adding any realism to it. And if you want to say it's Space Wizards, then it's Space Wizards. But if you're going to talk about it like it's serious, then you have to actually bring that reality into it. And a man who has gone through what Luke Skywalker has gone through, to expect him to come out on the other end and be, the guy from A New Hope is, well, frankly, silly. It's just, look how much all of us have changed in the past year, just from the, what's gone on with us, right?
Right.
So can you imagine what, killing your father and, almost pretty much mostly, but all of that other stuff would impact one after a certain amount of time. And yes, Star Wars is for everyone. There's a character out there that no one else noticed in this, scene or whatever, that is your favorite character. You want to know everything about them and everywhere they've been. That is what makes Star Wars fantastic. There is somebody for everybody to get behind. And if there isn't somebody for you, you will find someone eventually. Yeah. And we all, no matter who we're, cheering on, we all need to have, to be able to support, to be able to accept that there are different people that we're not going to like. I mean, I personally, usually get up and go and get a drink during the Canto Bite scene. Yeah. It's not for me. It's for the kids. I get it. I know what happens. I saw it and I'm okay with it. Just because it's not my favorite thing doesn't mean I hate Star Wars and Disney's ruining. No, it's just, there's a particular part of the movie that I can skip over. And I'm here to tell you that my favoriteest movie of all time has scenes I fast forward through. Sure. I don't know any movie that I don't have a portion of it where I'm just like, meh, So we all just need to be a little bit more relaxed about it. You can be super hardcore into Star Wars without being a jerk. And that's what we're seeing now is, it's great to have opinions. It's great to be really, really deep into it and to be passionate about it and to know every single thing about this, that, or the other thing. But understand that everybody doesn't look at it the same way. We don't all listen to the same kind of music. We don't like the same kinds of things to eat and drink. And I know those are really, really stupid, basic things, but they're true. And what you learn as you get older is the simple things are true. Everybody doesn't like the same stuff.
This is true. And what I think is kind of interesting too is, there's this sort of press and push to almost a mindset from some people that Mandalorian and the scene with Luke is recasting the sequels. And to me, that scene actually is the most important scene to the sequels because what it did, I said this on, if you saw me say this on Beyond the Blasters Live earlier this week, I apologize, but it's one of my favorite things is that, a couple episodes before Luke showed up, Ahsoka said, I'm not going to train this kid because he's got an attachment. I've seen what happens when that happens, and it ain't good. Luke shows up with the hubris of the Jedi that he talks about in The Last Jedi. Is it The Last? Yeah, The Last Jedi. He look, Filoni was very, very poignant to point out that he wants your permission, right? So he's showing that connection, and he takes him anyway. It's another one of Luke's. I get it. We've all thought we were better than we were. We've all tried to do things that we shouldn't do.
We all thought we knew better.
Right. My dad did it. I can do it. Well, and so, but I think that's why the Mandalorian is definitely, sure, you got the Snoke in a barrel scene that we got, and that's a direct connection. But those sort of connections are going to build this story, which is why we're going to look at the sequels in 20 years as completely different stories. So I'm excited about where they're taking it all. So,
I agree.
Without a doubt.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, I don't get that mindset. Like, it is so funny. It's like, why do we, for one thing, people take what characters say as gospel too much because characters can lie.
And
it's like you're saying, Rick.
Know something.
yes, they can be wrong, have a wrong perspective, like a real person. That's why That's what makes characters interesting, right?
Yes.
It's not that they're
Yes.
like, and I know it's mythology, but people lie in mythology all the time. I mean, come on.
Absolutely.
It's called
And
storytelling.
mythology is designed to help control people, to send a message,
It creates a parameter.
Yeah, it creates
Yes.
perimeter, it creates
Yes.
laws, it creates rules, it creates, partially decorum. It's all of
Oh,
those
yeah.
things. And so I think that we do need to, and one of the things I see the most, especially when it comes to like movie reviewers and even reactors. Well, what's happening? I don't understand how he got there. Well, sweetheart, that's why there's going to be another episode after this.
Good night. There's more
What do you
coming.
want them to do? Come out in the first episode and give you the synopsis, and now you can watch all the episodes to see what you know is coming.
Yeah.
And, and especially for Star
People
Wars.
just need to relax.
What did we get? What did we get with original Star Wars? It said episode 4.
Right.
It didn't say
Yeah.
episode
Yeah.
1. Like we
Right.
got the story already going on. Like, and then
You're in the middle.
40 years
Right.
later, we're
And
finding
they
out what the
didn't
Clone
explain
Wars
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, before we get too far
Yes.
away,
Yep. And they didn't explain everything.
I do need to.
They leave you in a spot where they want you to find out.
That's right.
Go ahead, Pete.
Exactly.
Almost like they know what they're doing.
Never apologize to Pete Flexer. Never apologize.
I
just
will
want
because I just love Pete to death.
He's awesome. I will
I
say.
want to thank JD for the $10 super chat and for the
May
bacon.
I?
And
JD, thank
should.
you.
You
Thank you for my bacon. So Pete, I expect that money in my account tomorrow.
I'll
I will
Venmo
go
it
and
to
buy
you,
bacon. I'll put the mask on and everything.
I'll be like I'll be your stimulus check. $10 coming.
Yeah. Thanks, Mitch.
But guys, we do have another person waiting in the chat, so I'm going to.
Man.
I want to bring them in. Nick, do you have any last thoughts before we bring in our next guest?
I love you guys. Jerry, what glass are you drinking out of?
It is the Return of the Jedi that I got from our buddy, my good buddy.
yeah.
I'm going to say from Mr. Lemiracle.
There you go. Well,
Andy.
I've got Return of the Jedi, Luke and Vader. I'm
See,
feeling
I've got
you
that
tonight.
one. Perfect, man. I got that up
I'm
in the
feeling this
cabinet.
tonight. And then I
nice.
guess to get us out of here, because I know the people are asking Pete, what is the Falcon update? How are we doing?
What about the Falcon? Oh, the
Lego Falcon.
I'm on bag number 4 right now.
I don't really know what's going on.
I'm taking my time. I'm getting up in the morning, I'm drinking the coffee. I have till I think I have till Monday to get it done. But I got bag number 4
It's
going.
Pete's job now
That's
to
right.
build the Falcon.
I do have to say it's the first time ever in my Lego lifetime that a piece was missing. There's a piece missing from bag number 2, and it's just driving me crazy.
Surely
That's deep.
Surely there's
That
a
is
system
so
in
deep.
place for that.
Maybe you know what? Maybe it's just 2020's last little fu.
That could be.
You don't get the last piece of your Falcon. Yeah.
Sorry.
The one you can have a chunk missing in like the back engine quarter. So,
That's right.
mhm.
That's exactly where it is. So,
That's
so
it.
we'll keep Raven for a second. We're gonna force push out Nick. Nick will be live with me on Tuesday night for Around the Galaxy live on
forward to it.
Tuesday. So I can't wait to do that. And Nick, the great news is your internet connection seems to work
Hey,
really well.
Totally works.
You didn't pop out once until we force push you out of
That's
here.
right.
So
Time to go.
anybody wants to join us?
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. Bye, Nick. I'll see you in
right.
2022 when you hold my hand when I get my tattoo of Greedo and Anakin fighting.
Oh my gosh.
So, there you go.
I don't know what that means, but I want to learn more. I want to bring
It's
in.
gonna have
I'm going to bring in
live chat.
Jackson the Leppy. Jackson is a guy who I've seen on Twitter for a while, and I'm really excited that he's joining us in this call.
Jackson.
How are you? And no,
Yay!
Jackson commented in the private chat that so him and Raven seem to have some connection. So I want to make sure they're both on the screen for together
okay.
for a moment.
A dyad, perhaps?
dyad
We can
is a
leave.
part-
Oh, we can leave. Do you guys need to touch fingers?
we can,
Is that what's going on?
I'm just gonna hold my hand over the side of the screen with Jerry and Peter. Sorry, guys.
It's okay. Well, earmuffs. It's okay. Yeah.
How are you? It's so great to meet you. I've seen you you and I have interacted on Twitter, and you've interacted with the network and stuff. How are you? It's so great to meet
First
you.
of all, thanks for humoring me, and it's great to meet everybody here. It's the first time I think I've actually heard Raven's voice. We've been talking online together, and as I said, I told her I'm not buttering your bread, Raven. She's one of the good ones. And listen, I am not going to fawn over your hair because I do that 23 hours a day already. So
Thanks.
I'm taking an hour off, okay? taking an hour off.
Okay, fair enough.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
It's
awesome.
good to be here. Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Today.
You're welcome.
Thanks today.
Are you
Yeah, I love
sure
it.
you guys don't need a couple minutes? Because we can leave.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
can,
Oh, yeah.
we can make this the Jackson and Raven show, as far as I'm concerned.
Peter,
So,
really-
that sounds
really
a lot
good
better
to
than
be
what
a
it's
girl.
been.
this is fun.
Uh,
So
Cheers,
Yeah.
everybody. 2021.
here's to a better year than 2020. Absolutely.
Here,
By the way,
here.
I have nothing at all to promote except that I don't think anybody participated in Snoketoberfest with me.
What is that?
Oh,
Okay.
that's a Blast Points thing, man.
Yes, it is. But
Dude,
I don't know if you guys you remember this. I drank a beer and a half with 3 of these vintage collection Snokes in the glass in the amount of time it takes to say, "My boy, I made Snoke." Now, I recorded it. I uploaded it. It took about 4 takes, so I was a little tipsy afterwards.
Nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. No, but it was pumpkin ale and it nearly killed me, so I wouldn't recommend it. But let's all vow in 2021 Snoketoberfest.
I'm with you. I missed 2020 Snoketoberfest. I will say
Okay.
I missed 2020,
Well, there
but
were some other things going on.
Snoketoberfest.
Yeah.
Oh,
There was some other
it's so good. And Blast Point's great guys. They
Yes.
live across the state from me. Actually, well, one lives in Chicago, one lives across the state. So eventually, I will stalk them. So
Good idea.
So be on
Very
the
good.
lookout for that. So what do you have going on? I'm silent for the first time because I'm looking at all your pops and you have the Ahsoka. Is that the
for a guy who has nothing to plug, you have a great background.
Oh,
do.
thank
We'll
you.
just say that.
How do you not have a live stream every night with that background?
Well,
Holy
Pete.
cow.
Well, Pete. See, this is you guys are aware of the phrase Potemkin Village, right? If I was to accidentally kick the bookshelf that the camera is precariously mounted on right now, you would see all of. Am I allowed to swear? The crap.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
sure.
of the shit on the floor.
My parents went to bed by now, so
Yeah. I have been in a constant state of cleaning my office since I think 2019. So 2020 certainly didn't help, but I'm always like, I'm gonna come down here. This is where I work. It's where I play, my video games and whatnot. But it's where I work too, and it's too cluttered. I can't concentrate. I'm gonna fix it today. I'm gonna clean, and then I sit down and I'm like, oh, I wonder what Raven's doing.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming you. I'm not blaming you.
No. I'll take the blame sometimes because I can be troublesome. I know.
Well, I didn't want to say it, but
That's I can admit it. I'm just really jealous. Jealous. I don't have a good background. The problem is all of my Star Wars stuff is in front of me. Like I've got a big banner.
you want to look
There's
at
other
it.
stuff. Yeah, I want to look at it.
It's
I don't know
inspiration,
if you guys can
right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you guys continue to do live shows, you're gonna have to do something about that background, though, Raven. I
know.
Oh man! Ouch!
Damn, Pete.
I know. I'm working on it.
I thought I was.
Jackson is going to beat you up after the show, Pete, if you're not careful. Okay. So.
Better watch it. I got protection this time.
It's all cool because the other side of my room looks like Jigsaw is going to tie somebody up and have them cut off their foot. No lie.
I legit got my green screen like a day ago.
I love
it's
it.
sitting
I love
on the
it.
table
Right.
over there.
Nice.
Can I just say I think you shouldn't change anything. In fact, I think there's a real Henry Cavill, building my own computer vibe going on there. I know you're a Superman fan, so
Wow.
I am. I am. I'm still waiting to see if anybody got my tweet about that. I haven't had anybody catch what I was getting at. They were like, "Welcome to 2021, Henry Cavill," and I'm like, "Actually, the timestamp is 2207." That'd be the
many
oil
people-
rig scene for those who didn't get it. That's the oil rig scene.
I like that. Hey, Man of Steel is great. I'm sorry.
Man of
I love
Steel's
Man of
great.
Steel.
I love Man of Steel.
There we go.
Oh, I
Me
thought
too.
you were
He's
talking about
Superman.
the oil rig scene from Superman 3.
No.
We're
I thought we were
Henry
talking about
all of
Finest
his-
Hours or something.
Yeah, something like that. Okay. Anyways,
I don't know what's happening anymore. What happened?
It's fine, Pete. It's fine, Pete. Go to
Have
bed.
me on again. I
No,
apologize.
I told you not to let me in here.
No,
because
I know that was my fault. I recognize.
know-
They're going to separate us. That's what's going to happen. They're going to
That's
separate us.
Pete, if I may, people have told me I look like a shorter, fatter, hairier Henry Cavill. So, thank
I
you.
think you're way better looking than Henry.
Oh, damn, girl. Thank you. Thank you.
He could not pull that hat off. He could not, and you do.
No, he couldn't. He couldn't pull it off because, his hair's too perfect. It would get stuck on his perfect hair.
He is rather perfect. It's a hard thing to deal with.
Oh man,
Entirely too young for me. I'm just
completely
I'm
off
just
the rails.
saying.
Pete,
Yeah,
your thoughts on Henry Cavill?
I'm not a DC guy, so I'm not going to weigh.
Oh!
I'm not going to weigh in. I mean, look, he's an
That's okay.
attractive,
I'm done.
handsome man.
Oh, good luck with the comments tomorrow morning.
So let's bring this back. Maybe just since we have some fun here. What kind of Star Wars related New Year's resolutions are you guys making? Jackson, we'll start with you. Other than apparently buy more pops, I think is probably number one on your list.
All right, so actually, I haven't purchased a pop in. It's been a while. It's been about a month. But I kind of made a vow. I had pre-ordered all of the the Clone Wars, the last run, with the Bad Batch characters and Bo-Katan and whatnot. I got all of them pre-ordered, and actually, there was a moment I had, and I think it was October, November. I said, what am I doing with all these? I love them. I love the ones I have. I can't fit anymore. Those two things that you see there, those pieces of cloth, those are actually curtains. I can't open my fucking windows. I can't open my windows. Okay.
I'm in the exact same mindset right now because I have literally probably 150 to 175 Star Wars pops. At least you have some variations in there. You have different, and I got to that point right now where I'm like, I don't know, why do I have these? What am I going to do with them? I need space. And so, but the problem is, Jackson, you can't give these away right now. I've tried to sell them. I have some in boxes over, I'm looking at things now, and I've put them at ridiculously low, going out of business sale prices, and nobody is interested. So that's the challenge.
Yeah, I think, so the stuff that I do have,
I don't have any room for stuff.
The ones that I do have,
background, Raven.
I'm comfortable keeping them, because there is, like some of the characters that I have, obviously all the Star Wars ones, but I mean, I love Captain Marvel. I've got all the Captain Marvels I could find, including like the chase ones. But they mean something to me, and I'm trying to streamline my materialism. And it's tough because that's tough for a citizen of 21st century civilization in general, but specifically Star Wars fans, that's tough. And I said I'm not going to buy any more Black Series. Well, I got six Ahsoka clone troopers in the mail. I'm like, when did I buy these?
Dude, no, I have one pop that Andy got me for the Christmas show. Okay.
Yeah.
But I have right here, and this isn't all of them. I have like a preschool playroom tote full of opened.
Yeah.
And some that are unopened. Look at this Boba Fett, man.
Beautiful.
I mean, I'm telling you, I can't stop buying that stuff. Okay.
I'll give you $10 for it.
Oh man! Oh, nice. Look, I also just went and raided my parents' Walmart down south and stuff. Because they always have better stuff than up here. I guess somebody knows the guy that works at the docks up here in Michigan. So
what is it with those southern Walmarts? They're so sweet.
Yes. They're so beautiful and full of just deliciousness. I don't know. It's awesome.
I'm headed into weekend three
full
of
of COVID deniers too.
Well,
I'm headed into weekend 3 of helping someone go through and organize his collection of original 70s Star Wars stuff.
Ooh.
including 3 full sets of the cards with all of the stickers and all the stuff. He's got the Millennium Falcon play set, the Chewbacca mask that was made out of like mohair because it was back when Star Wars came out. And he's just got all this stuff. And I'm like, how many weeks is it going to take me to go through all of this and catalog everything that you have? And he's like, I don't know, but figure out what to do with it. I'm like, I have a patches on a vest. Like
you're like, well, I can put this in my car.
I can put it in my bag and bring it home.
I'm going to help you organize it.
Yeah, right. I can help you organize it. If I had a bigger place, believe me, I'd have organized all of it right here in my living room. But that didn't work out.
The collectibles guide says that it's really helpful for the vitality of action figures to take them across state lines.
Oh, really? Okay.
Bring them over here. Yeah. Bring them this way.
Yeah. Mine are very vital then. Yes. A lot of vitality.
This is a helpful fan community that we have here. We help each other. You know, we share.
Take them across state lines. Yes, Massachusetts, perhaps.
We all just have one massive collection. That's all it is. This stuff. The Holo Chronicles boys, they connect us all. There you go.
That's true. That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true.
So
Josh is down in the chat.
I'm going to take a little bit of control of this, and I'm going to ask Raven her New Year's resolution, and then I'm going to kick both these guys out because we got a couple people left. I love having both of you, and in fact,
I just made 2 new best friends. By the way, it's good to see you guys. It's good to see you guys.
Giving them the show, and we'll come back tomorrow.
Yeah, like how's it going, guys? All right, I had my bacon finally. All right, cool.
What's your New Year's resolution, Raven?
Well, my Star Wars New Year's resolution is to just do my best to keep things positive, not to engage with people who are being negative. And, but to be clear, if Sith Miss Raven has to come in and smack people, I will do it because I'm old and I can do that. And it's my birthday in a few days, so remember that when you guys are, loving on me. Remember,
I'm gonna. You know what? I am the king of wanting to make T-shirts. So I'm gonna make a shirt that says "I'm old, so I can do that," and that's gonna be my thing.
Yeah, but which Star Wars character do you get to be in front of that logo, though?
I think you got
Palpatine. I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
No, I would have gone.
That is a controversial shirt.
Oh, Yoda could be good too. Yoda could be good.
Yeah, I mean, because Yoda was pretty old.
He was 900 years.
Pete, we could have an entire line of shirts that look like they belong in a gas station with characters from pop culture that have like little grandma sayings on them. Let's do it. I'm all for it. Let's get a Lothcat shirt. That looks like one of those with grandma's doily or something. I'm all for it.
All right, we are going. First of all, Jackson, you have a request from Andy Lemire from Holo Chronicles to feature that collection. So you guys hook up on Twitter. You'll be
wait, this one right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And whatever else.
The one that looks friggin' fantastic.
Yes. Oh, stop it! Stop it! It's all a trick of the lighting.
All right, we are going to
it's a great trick.
Let's force push these wonderful people away. Thank you so much.
We love you guys.
Tonight, guys. Happy New Year. We'll see you again soon. Bye.
Whoa, man, he's too strong with the Force.
He must be very strong with the Force.
He must have captured a lot of Force tokens because it works like a video game,
All right, we're gonna bring in one last guest for tonight. It's been a really awesome night. We are about an hour and 40, and we got Framey, Andy Lemire, we got Gannon, Gilster, Sean Solo, Josh Most, Framey, I'll just say Framey every other time, JD Sleesman, All Remaining Systems, Queen Ventress, Nick, just a long list. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us tonight. This has been fun.
Yes.
It's New Year's Day. I didn't think we'd get anybody here, but luckily all of you have as little to do as we do, which is really great.
They really like hanging out with us, Pete. We're fun to hang out with, right? That's the whole thing.
A really, really super fun time. So we are going to bring in probably our last guest of the night, but I never make any promises that I can't keep. But I want to bring in this guy comes in every week, and
see where it goes.
He's a great friend of the show, great all the shows on the BTBD network. He also plays and gets blown up with you and I, Jerry, when we go out into Yes. We go out into Star Wars Squadrons. It is Apprentice Ewok. Brandon, how are you, man? How's it going?
Brandon!
Hey, everybody.
Brandon, you definitely made some New Year's resolutions because I read them today on Twitter.
Yeah.
So let's start with your New Year's resolutions, and then we'll go from there. You're kicking off your YouTube stream, and you're doing some great things. So what were your resolutions again?
I think for YouTube it was get to 1,000 subscribers.
We can help you
Twitch,
there.
Halfway there, bud.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, like 540 or something like that.
That's awesome.
Reach 250 followers on Twitch and stream consistently, and then 3,000 followers on Twitter.
Nice.
Do it. It was, yeah. And then I think read more Star Wars books.
Yeah.
I think that's everybody. We're just like there's a lot of good books coming out this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's a couple things coming out. So what did you want to what did you want to pop in for this evening, other than just because you love hearing my silky voice?
Yeah.
What's going on? How was your New Year's?
It was good. Spent time with family yesterday. And then woke up and said Happy New Year's to my mom, and she just said, well, maybe, and found out that she tested positive for COVID. So yeah,
right.
so,
I saw your post.
Yeah, it is what it is. I won't be able to go back to work until the middle of January, but I mean,
Pete,
I have things to do.
Sorry. Pete, come back. You can't catch COVID through the internet.
Okay, I was worried.
Sorry, Brandon. Man, seriously though, I had a buddy at work too. His roommate was around someone, and so he's getting paid to stay at home, which I'm kind of like, man, come cough on me. I'm joking. I'm completely joking. But I really hope you and your mom are doing good, that your mom, recovers and all that stuff, man. But hey,
thank you.
I'm happy you can be with us and stuff, that we still have all of this technology that we can still get together and all talk about this fun stuff,
Yeah, of course.
Awesome.
We have our first Flexer. Is that the first Flexer of the night?
Pete Flexer of the night.
Oh, Nick. Hey, Jack, what's up, bud?
Hey, Jackson's here, my boy. Say hi, Jack.
How you doing? Good.
He should be sleeping, but he's got.
But we're up late.
He's got a switch, and Daddy's making a lot of noise, so he's.
I'm just playing Zelda there.
Oh, you're playing Zelda.
Good choice. Good choice.
Good choice, buddy. All right, man. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye, Jack.
All right. So what's
seriously
on your mind
the
today?
best?
Oh,
he's awesome.
I'm just so excited. With all the news from the Disney shareholder stuff, I made a video about it, the things that I'm excited for.
I watched that today.
Thank
you. I want you to know. Yeah, man.
You.
Seriously, good job.
Thanks. I'm new with all of this, making videos and everything like that, but
it's really easy. Look.
Yeah. I'm just so excited because 2020, I dove headfirst into the fandom again, and got my Phantom Menace poster up. 27 by 40 inch.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's one of the movie theater displays that one of my friends had in their closet.
You're touching my heart, man. You're touching my heart. Scotty would be proud.
Yeah, I sent him a picture of it, I think.
That's awesome, dude.
But no, I think just being excited about everything. I mean, there are going to be things that you don't like, but going into it, I'm totally willing to experience everything. I've got everything High Republic pre-ordered as soon as it was able to do so. Some of my favorite authors are involved with it. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga is coming out, and I am super pumped for that.
You know what? I'm glad. We were going to talk, and maybe this is good that you're here for the end, because one of the last topics that I wanted to get to, which by the way got to none of them and all of them somehow all at the same time. But one of I was Jerry.
It's the magic, baby.
That's how the magic happens. By the way, the Universe Galaxy. He said he was in the chat waiting. He said, "So is there a long way to get in the program then?" If you want to come back in, man, I know I said this is our last guest, but you waited a long time, so pop in and we'll get you in for sure.
Hey, man, I got nothing to do. I mean, come on. I mean, I want to hang out with you is what I meant to say.
Right. But so the things that we know that are coming out are in a couple days. We have the beginning of the deluge of High Republic. Yeah. We know we have Bad Batch. My call is April on that. I could be wrong. I'm basing that on nothing other than.
I really hope so. I hope that hits mid-year because I could really use
I think
something.
we're going to get a Marvel show or two, and then that'll hit.
May the 4th.
Or 4, right?
May the 4th.
May the 4th could be a perfect.
The one time they actually like do something on the 4th, release it, like which last year's was pretty good, but if they started actually treating that like, just come on, Disney, come on, don't make me start a hate group.
So what if Bombad became evil? Oh my god, that would be hard.
Oh my gosh, like the Jar Jar Binks, like being the mastermind, like weird Reddit theory.
But you did.
It'll be meta.
You mentioned the thing that I forgot, which and I think I probably forgot because we've been told for 2 years now that we're going to get this Lego Skywalker Saga game. I could not be more excited about that.
I've been waiting so long. I love those games. Man. I was seriously, you were so excited on your video today and stuff. I share that excitement because seriously, there's nothing more fun than like the original trilogy saga, right? Right. Like, they're so fun.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's I'm gushing. Talk.
They're fun games. They're fun. So, what of all that stuff you're looking forward to that? What else? What's on your sort of your hit list of things that you're gonna? I mean, look, we're all talking at near midnight on New Year's Day about Star Wars. So all of it we're going to be front in the line on. But what's the thing that you're most pumped about?
It's an obvious one, but it's the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
It is so cool. I have the helmet pre-ordered, the new Black Series one with the repainted.
Same
I've
here,
got the
I was
deluxe,
this close. I'm in too much debt, but I was this close.
I got the deluxe Boba figure where he's like doing the flamethrower and his gun is cut in half. That's on pre-order and just hoping and I'm gonna shout out David with the bring Cad Bane back. It could be so cool. They have so many things that they can do with the show, and I'm just excited to see. And Arzu talks about it like she wasn't a huge fan of Boba Fett, and now you have all these people who are now a fan of Boba Fett, and everybody who was like he's pretty cool is getting that payoff, and that's what I think.
Yeah,
when you dive headfirst into Star Wars, that's when you get the rewards. Is when you take in all the different types of media, that's when things pay off. So like the casual Star Wars fans who might not have watched the Clone Wars or Rebels, they watched The Mandalorian, and like my mom, she enjoyed The Mandalorian, but she's like, who's Bo-Katan?
Yep.
And like, was that Boba Fett? And it's when you enjoy everything that comes out, that's when you get the reward for enjoying it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's also interesting too because I don't know if you had a chance to see the short little video that I popped up a couple weeks ago where I interviewed my dad because I wanted to find out somebody who's and I reference him a lot on my show about if it works for my dad, it'll work for more people. But the fact that he didn't know who Bo-Katan was, he didn't know who Ahsoka was, but he thought those characters were great, which is a real testament to Filoni and Favreau for being able to bring in characters that the three of us like lost our freaking minds about, and yet still made them connectable to the show. And it was funny because my after I got a text from my dad on I think it was the Saturday after he's not like me, he doesn't get up at 5 a.m. to watch but it was like Saturday afternoon. It was like, what took you?
He's
so
normal.
Long? Yeah, he's normal. He's got a life still, and so he sent me a text, and he said watched episode 16. I have some questions, and we just talked, but it was great because
what we've lived our lives to hear from our parents. I have questions about Star Wars.
Finally, they're like, we know you've been a nerd, but it's finally paying off because I'm watching your show. But he made an interesting point, and maybe this is a cool thing to talk a little bit about. Where does the Mandalorian go without Grogu? Like, how does it maintain the intensity? Because the reason my mother, I can't say my dad for sure, but my mother, we literally bought my mother a Baby Yoda action figure for Christmas. Like, I've never bought my mom a toy for Christmas. This year, my daughter and I gave her a Grogu, and because she loves them.
Awesome.
But what's going to happen? Like, how do you maintain that love of the show without the little green puppet? What do you guys think?
Do you want to go first, Jerry?
I mean, sure, man. I don't know. I'll just step over whoever's talking. That's usually how I do it.
That's
But
usually what he does. But
that's usually what it's what I'm known for. But I think next season, honestly, is going to be the retaking of Mandalore. Honestly, it's going to be the whole drama between, because as far as we know, Din is still with like Bo-Katan and them. I mean, they could have gone off and done their different things and stuff like that. Obviously, Boba and Finnick, right? They went off and killed Boba Chunk, or Bob, I keep wanting to call him Boba, Bib Chunk Tuna and all that stuff, But I don't know. I think because he's got the Darksaber, so I think that Bo-Katan's going to stick with him. And they've got an Imperial, light cruiser, right?
Yeah.
Like, they've got all of this stuff. I think that's going to be the little bit of it, but I don't think we're going to go a full season without Grogu coming back, honestly.
Really? Oh man, I totally disagree with you on that, but that's okay.
That's my hot take for the
You're
thing.
not a real Star Wars fan, and
I'm gonna bring Jared back in here if I have to. But no, man, like I just, the way that his interaction with him went, I feel like there's going to be something. He's going to get drawn back in towards the end of the season, probably. But I don't think we're going a full season without. And now I guess are we not getting it next year? Is it pushed back a little bit?
Their list, yep.
Which, fine, that's fine. I'll be okay. I think I'll be okay. I might survive. Who knows? I don't know. 2020 was rough, but bring it on, 2021. That's my thing. I don't think we're going very far without it. I think that next season is a lot of because that was a big thing for Bo-Katan and him. Why does Bo-Katan feel that way? People are saying, well, wait, she just took it in Rebels. Mm-hmm. Well, that's not them not listening, because the guy who made Rebels is helping make this show. So there are reasons for things, guys. Like we were talking a little earlier.
Yeah.
It's like we were talking earlier with Raven and them, like Raven and Jackson before their big love affair and stuff. Like Star Wars, people take characters' dialogue as gospel, what characters say, and it's like, no, characters can lie. Characters can change their mind. They can think different things. And Bo-Katan, I've been watching Clone Wars today. I've watched her transition today. I watched the whole Maul taking over Mandalore arc, like almost literally before we started this. And it's like, she's a little bit like, okay, she's cool with like burning down villages and killing innocent people. But then there's this stuff with the thing, and she has this change of heart, and now she has a great arc throughout the whole.
I see her as the villain.
Story.
Season 3. I see her as the villain.
You think it? See, I don't see her as the villain, but I definitely see her as a protagonist or as a antagonist.
What do you think, Brandon?
Or maybe I'll pull a Ryan Johnson and say they're dual protagonists. So.
Okay. So my immediate thought when watching it was, Grogu's going to train. And I was just like, is there going to be a time delay because we're going to get the Book of Boba Fett this year instead?
Possibly.
But then I was like, no, they can't do any sort of time lapse or anything like that, because Din has the Darksaber. And that was such a big issue. And I have been rewatching Rebels, and Sabine Wren's mom says, did you beat him in combat? And she said, well, not really. And then she's like, well, then you have no claim to it. So Bo-Katan has already been given the saber once without earning it. She's not going to let it happen again.
Yep. And I think that's why, part of my headcanon is that's why she lost it, because she didn't earn it appropriately. I think that season 3 kicks off exactly at the end sort of a Last Jedi to or Rise Force Awakens.
Careful, don't make him angry, Pete. Don't make him angry.
I think Bo-Katan goes straight at him, and it sets off the tone, because she wants that sword, and he has, and she's also, look, she's a really clever character, and she knows that if she was going to have a struggle with him to begin with, now would be the time to do it, because he's all teared up because Luke Skywalker just left with this kid. Now's the time to take it from him.
His ship's gone.
Yeah,
his kid's gone.
Well, he's like, the crazy thing is he's ready to just give it to her too.
Yeah.
And she refuses. So that's the thing about it, is like, how's that going to go? where it's like, no, I've got to fight you for it. And he's like, I will literally just give it to you. Like that's interesting to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think, and so I've said that I've believed from very early, I'd say very early, but that's a lie. It was when I saw the Black Saber at the end of chapter 8. So I guess it was not that early at all, but that perhaps the Mandalorian is the story about the Mandalorian, the rightful leader of Mandalore. And it's Din Djarin, and this is his story. Much like you're getting a book of Boba Fett and getting his story, we're getting the story that led him there. I mean, look, he was a bounty hunter who didn't know anything about the Force. He didn't know anything about Jedi. He knew the Empire was bad, but he didn't care about rebels. And so he's built himself up as a character, as a person over the last 16 episodes, and maybe he's ready to sit on that throne. Who knows?
Yeah. I was about to raise my hand because I work in a school. But,
please, Brandon, if you'd like.
Yeah, it works here too.
Yeah. My big thing is Boba even says to Bo Katan that like there's nothing left of Mandalore. The Empire turned it to glass. So what are we going to see with that? Is it are they going to reclaim the idea of Mandalore? Is she going to pair with Din to restore Mandalore? We don't know if they're going to retake Mandalore because there might not be anything left, right? We don't know what the state of it is. And it's a, watching it, and it, Star Wars is one of those things where you can take it like not seriously at all and just enjoy it, or you can analyze every little thing. And looking at it, I was like, when it comes to culture, there's the Mandalorians basically deciding who's Mandalorian enough. Like the whole like donor thing with Boba Fett and Din being, part of a cult and stuff like that. She's basically saying, you're not Mandalorian enough. I'm the only like true Mandalorian. And it's like, we're going to figure out what it means to be the Mandalorian. And I agree with you on that, Pete.
Yeah.
On the whole thing about, I like what you're saying, Pete, about and you two, like Brandon, both of you guys, like, I like the idea of Din being the true ruler of Mandalore, where he will do what he needs to do to get the job done, right? But he is such an honorable person.
Yeah. Yep.
Like that's the thing, is he is nothing but honor and stuff. And he's questioning his faith and stuff, right? But I don't know. I think we're gonna get that. I think we're finally going to get flashbacks to the Night of 1,000 Tears. See, like the what they call it, the not the Siege of Mandalore, that was Clone Wars.
Yep.
Just that the
Great Purge, right?
Great Purge. We're going to get the Great Purge and everything like that. And I think we're just really going to dive into how this connects to the other Mandalorian stuff. Because I was today even trying to... all the Mandalore stuff is in like the last few seasons, the really interesting stuff. Yeah. And I'm just going through like, okay, how does this connect to what we get? Where we are in Mando.
I think your partner in crime on Bombad said it best, Scotty, when he said, Mandalorian has made it so there is no prequel trilogy, there is no sequel trilogy or original trilogy. It's all just Star Wars, and they brought it together.
Yeah.
I want to share something funny. I found this on Twitter, so hopefully I can actually make this work. I'm not sure if I've done this before, but let's see if this works. Can you guys see my screen here?
Yes, we can see. It's very small. Oh, here we go. Oh, I saw this. This is great.
Okay, let's see if I can make it work now. Can you hear it?
It's very quiet at first.
I need to take a look at something. See, this is me. What about that?
They make it so quiet.
Wait, but and then there's that. There's my
father Jango Fett.
That was dumb, but it was funny. And I
shared that and said it was chapter 14 special edition. Yeah.
We're getting some really interesting conversation in the chat here about there's a difference between true Mandalorians, pacifists, Death Watch, Children of the Watch, and more. And it's really true. I mean, I think ARS makes a really great point there. And I think that's what's really kind of cool about where the Mandalorian And again, this is what I'm so blown away at the level of planning for this show, because we were all like, yeah, he's a foundling. That's great. He's part of, these. And I remember when I saw the Death Watch insignia on the pauldron, I was like, that's great. Maybe they turned around but maybe they haven't. Or Bo-Katan, I'm waiting for Bo-Katan to really go kind of extremist. And it's interesting because you have the Mandalorian culture is extremist versus extremist, and it's an interesting sort of life lesson to kind of think about as we look at Empire versus Rebel, right? I mean, Bill Burr brought that up in that one episode. So it's whatever side you're on, and I think it's a really interesting social kind of thing to think about. It's the old history is written by the winners, but it's none of these. At the end of the day, I mean, are rebels the good guys? It's nice.
Well, and today people were even talking about because I think Alex put out his video today about the Easter eggs. Yeah, in Mando, and he was translating the Arabesh on when they're going through trying to find Mayfeld in Cara Dune's office. Mm-hmm. They're sending people to Wobani, and he's working at a labor camp, and they're like, is anyone going to talk about how someone said, I forget, I wish I could shout you out, I'm sorry, but they said, is anyone going to talk about how the New Republic is using prison labor? Yeah. And it's like, that's not really like, and we're just now in our society in America going like, we really have prisoners do a lot of stuff and there's a lot of people in there that are in there for stuff that they probably should just be getting like treatment for instead of like being put in bars and stuff. Not to get into like Star Wars, it reflects our world. It does what mythology does good, where it's fun and it teaches us things. But yeah, that's what's so great about that Bill Burr episode is it's questioning everything, and it's making him question.
It was filler. It was totally
my
filler.
People. It's totally filler, and it has like the best. I call it Inglorious Stormtroopers. That's just such. I love that episode. The whole scene at the table, man. I mean, it's so just great. That is
with the Night King and everything.
So good, such good Star Wars.
Real quick, Gilster, thank you so much, man. You are you're a joy and a wonderful part of our Patreon family and our family. Thank you so much for the super chat. It's great, and you're right. This is the way.
Thank you, Gilster.
Thank you very much. Well, Brandon, we are at 2 hours here, which is a long time for Jerry to not use the restroom. So we're gonna probably.
I'm a camel, dude. I'm a camel. I used to go on long road trips and stuff, and you gotta sometimes get a drive through the night. It's okay.
I was projecting, Jerry. It's
that's what it was. Oh, okay.
Let's force push Brandon. Any last words before we send you out?
No, my New Year's resolution is to just be a fan and be a good fan.
Be a good fan. I love that.
Hey, man.
That's what it's all about.
The year of the spark of positivity this year, man. Seriously.
Right. That's right. That's right. There's more of us, as Zori Bliss once said.
Zori Bliss is criminally underrated, honestly. That whole conversation. Well, that conversation to me is so criminally underrated that they have, where she's like, that they win by making you feel like you're alone. That is so true in life. True. Wow. And you know what? 2020 tried to make us do that, guys, but we're in 2021. You know what? None of us are alone. We're Star Wars fans. We're here together. Brandon, I love you. Pete, you need to pee, but I love you too.
Let's push Brandon out. Brandon, thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, guys.
See you again soon. See ya.
Love you, bro.
Well, Gerald, as Scotty calls you occasionally.
Yes, he does. And I won't call you. I won't apply that to you because we tried that earlier and it did not work.
Pete and Gerald as names don't really work so well. But Jerry, this was so much fun. I'm really glad you joined me tonight. This was really great. I love it. This was sort of a last minute. It's Friday. We all kind of looked at our calendars and realized that it's time to do our call-in show. So this was a lot of fun. We hope everybody enjoyed yourselves tonight. Jerry, anything you want to add? Jack is still awake. What are you doing?
I was gonna say, hey Jack, what's up, buddy?
Look how tired this kid looks. He's saying goodbye.
Bye, Jack. Yeah, he's like, get off the thing, Dad. I'm about to let I'm not gonna hold you dead hostage anymore, Jack. I promise. So, Pete, thank you for letting me come on with you because you know what you're getting into when you guys like have me on, and I still appreciate you guys putting up with me.
I don't know what I'm getting into, and that's what's exciting.
That's the problem. Oh, see, exciting isn't the word that usually gets used, but I appreciate that. So,
brother, nothing but love. Have an awesome 2021. I'm looking so much forward to what we're going to do as the network this year, and
me too.
I'm
We
really
got so much good stuff for the people out there, man. For real.
Absolutely. And dude, 2020 was a shitstorm, but if it wasn't for 2020, we wouldn't be getting together. So I'm so glad that it's happened. And to everybody who's following us, the long list in the chat, thank you all so much for hanging out with us on a Friday night, on New Year's Day. We will see you next Friday. It'll be me and somebody, possibly Josh, possibly Jerry, possibly who knows? It's going to be fun.
Possibly everyone. Who knows?
That's the beauty of Beyond the Blasters is you have no idea which lunatic is going to show up on your screen on Friday nights. But everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Tell a friend. Tell people on social media if you're looking for a positive Star Wars conversation. Follow Beyond the Blasters. We have
Bring them our way. Let us know what you're doing. Let us know what you're doing. We'll give you a shout out.
That's what you're up to. On Mondays, you get Holo Chronicles. You get Josh and Andy talking about all things collectibles. On Tuesday, you get my show. We've been doing them live. We're doing live this week with Nick Milkey, who you saw a little bit earlier. Wednesday, you get Beyond the Blasters live, which is the Star Wars conversation. And then on Saturday, of course, you get Jerry and Scotty with the Bombad Cast. Friday nights, you get this madness. And we hope to see you again next week. Jerry, thank you so much, brother. This has been a blast. Thank you so much for hanging out, dude.
Thanks for having me on. Eat your bacon, everybody. All right.
Eat your bacon.